India's been, to us, just about the highest tariffed nation anywhere in the world. They've been very strong on tariffs, and I don't blame them necessarily, but it's a different way of doing business. It's very hard to sell into India because they have trade barriers, very strong tariffs. We are right now a reciprocal nation. We are going to, if it's India or if it's somebody else with low tariffs, we're going to have the same. We're going to have whatever India charges, we're charging them. Whatever another country charges, we're charging them. So it's called reciprocal, which I think is a very fair way.
I want to bring in now Yamiche Alcindor, who's been watching this news conference with us. Indian Prime Minister Modi, United States President Trump, of course, here in the East Room, back home in Washington at the White House. And Yamiche, as the rest of the news conference continues, I should note, we said at the top it was potentially going to be what's called a 2-and-2, meaning 2 questions from members of the press from each country. Obviously, we have seen other questions come up, including from our own Gabe Gutierrez, who is in the East Room now. And Yamiche, headlines here, right? When you look at this issue of tariffs dominating the discussion, we knew that China would dominate the discussion as well. And the Prime Minister also asked about his conversation with Elon Musk earlier. The Prime Minister acknowledging he met with Musk. He even had put out a picture of that we have. Fascinating, because Musk is in the position typically reserved for a president or a head of state. Musk, of course, is neither at the moment, along with his family discussing what the Prime Minister says. You see the photo there was space, technology, innovation, et cetera, Yamiche.
That's right. It was really interesting to, one, let's just say that this is, of course, not a traditional press conference. There's 2-and-2 would not be what you would describe this. This is more like 10-on-10 at this point. Hallie, they're definitely into the number of questions now. I think the headline out of this is a couple things. One, the president directly did talk about China. He said China has been terrible to the United States and that they need to be paying more to the United States when it comes to trade. He said he's trying his best to rectify that. And in doing that, he's talking about the fact that he has these reciprocal tariffs that he's going to be rolling out. He also talked about Russia, and Gabe Gutierrez, our colleague, asked a really good question that he did not clearly directly answer. Gabe asked him specifically, well, you've talked about what Ukraine is going to give up, what concessions Ukraine should give up. The president indicating that Ukraine will likely not be able to go back to its original territory. What should Russia give up? That was the question from Gabe, but President Trump did not directly answer it. Instead, he said Russia might give up a lot, but he's not sure. He said the negotiations are early. But I think it's a key question to ask because, of course, as the president is leaning in, saying that Ukraine is going to be giving up something, it's not clear what he wants Russia to give up. He also talked at length about the idea that Russia for years has been against Ukraine joining NATO. Ukraine, of course, has been trying its best to try to join NATO in the years since this most latest war broke out. So I think those are all things that are definitely headlines out of this.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.